Alone in the heart of the sacred grove, Ashâke lifted her torch and peered into the darkness. The trees here were old, hundreds of seasons old, their huge white limbs draped in moss. The priest said these trees had been old back when Orisha roamed the earth, and still they stood. Ashâke found it hard to shake the feeling of being watched, as she did whenever she came here, and spent a moment wheeling about, straining to see into the darkness beyond the trees. But if there was something there, if there was someone there, she couldn't see them. Ashâke licked her dry lips. Perhaps it is the orisha who watch me, waiting for me. The thought sent chills down her spine. Surely they knew what she was soon to do. She approached the biggest tree, a great white baobab leaning over the river. It stood some 80 feet tall, with bark so wrinkled that it looked like an old, withered face had been carved into it. One could tell a white baobab's age by how many leaves it had left. This one was leafless, limbs oddly naked as they stretched out from a massive trunk. Ashâke dug her torch into the soft soil at its roots. Next to it, she dumped her pouch, which was heavy with her divination board and calories, and with the tome she'd pilfered from the library, the one that had shown her how to do what she planned. Ashâke shivered. It was mad, building an Idan to summon and bind an orisha. But it was their fault, all their fault for refusing to speak to her, for refusing to choose her when they'd chosen her peers, chosen the others. A gust of wind howled through the forest. Ashâke looked up to see rain clouds lit by intermittent flashes of lightning. Shango is striking his axes, she thought. A few heartbeats later, an ear-splitting thunderclap cracked through the air, and from somewhere in the forest came the frightened caws of ravens. An omen? Ashâke hoped not. Shango was quick to temper, but it was not him she wanted, not him she sought to summon. She was desperate, but had no death wish. Shango would smite her at the first opportunity. She could almost imagine her fellow acolytes, their faces full of wicked derision when they learned of her fate. And the priests? Would they tut and shake their heads, muttering about poor Ashâke, whose inability to hear the orisha had driven her to such extremes?